Welcome. I'm Chris McKean.
And I'm Andy Kiner.
We're all about cross-country racing, and typically it starts with 10 seconds.
But not in Iowa. In Iowa, it all starts with hands-on helmets.
All right. Welcome, everybody, as a special Sunday edition that we are just throwing out there. We had some scheduling conflicts for this week. I will be on vacation with my family, enjoying some nice Florida weather. So we're going to throw this up a little early this week. Yeah, we've got some exciting news on this one. How's your short week been?
It's been pretty good. Just got done with the women's national wrestling tournament. Brady and his Wartburg girls had 3 qualifiers their very first year, with 2 of them placing and 3 qualifiers, 2 placing. So they end up 20th in the nation. So pretty good for the first time out. Pretty proud of them. Yeah.
I got to see some of it live on Flow, and then also thanks to your wife, got to see some live matches as well. So very entertaining. Congratulations to the girls and to Brady.
Yeah. Other than that, just getting ready for another week's worth of work. You know, some of us just got to keep putting our head down, going to work.
Yeah, you got some work done on the scoring trailer and registration trailer today. So good job out of you.
Working on it. Seems like it keeps creeping up on us, getting closer and closer.
Well, what do we have? 27 days. So
the countdown.
27. So I think people are enjoying my daily posts. So we'll keep that going until that first race. Got this last one's kind of something special I got in store. So we'll see how many people participate in that one. But we have a couple guests on tonight. We have Jason Mickelson, who's going to come on and talk about our sponsoring not only the series, but he's also going to sponsor the Adult 90 Mini Challenge. We got Chad Bottorff, Ty Lube representative, coming on to talk about the Ty Lube Top Gun Award that they're going to give out to different classes in the series. And then excited, we are going to wrap up the night talking with sprint car driver Jack Anderson. Pretty exciting.
Should be a good night.
Yeah, kind of here and there on this special edition of the Hands on Helmet podcast. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring on Jason Mickelson.
Gentlemen,
welcome.
Morning, Jason.
You. How are you this evening?
Seems like we just were talking to you not too long ago.
I know.
I'm glad you
a regular.
Glad you changed sweatshirt.
One of the originals is Jason, our first 2-time guest. Oh, Paul was.
I can't forget about the GOAT.
Paul. Yeah, how do we forget about Paul? That's crazy to think about that. So,
20 years ago.
Yeah. It seems like it went pretty quick. Some days it seems like it lasts a long time.
Yeah, I will say, it's the last couple hours usually of the Heartland that get me. I'm not a race weekend's okay, but you'll see me 9 hour of the Heartland and I just feel drained. So
it's a long day for everybody.
Yeah.
Last year you got woke up about 9 hours into it though, didn't you?
Well, we were a little wet. Good thing we called that early.
That big lightning strike right beside us.
Yep.
Picked the whole trailer. It kind of woke you up.
Yep. After that was the survival mode of all the equipment. I was very concerned getting that all safe and tucked away. But
yeah. Huh. Well, Jason, thanks for coming back on. We all the 20 years worth of stories we could tell, we can't do it all in one session, can we?
No way.
So just a little bit of rundown with Jason, Chris. Jason started racing obviously back in the 4x4 days. The original guys coming on. The first time we really got to hang out and race with Jason was the very first 12 hour.
Mhm.
and then raced with us for quite some time. But Jason was a huge part of the series that I'm guessing some people may have forgot about, maybe, or maybe our new people haven't experienced what he done. But when you see us pulling into the trailer, pulling the trailer into the track every time with the red dually, we always called that the Carl dually. And
Mhm.
I don't know if you remember this, Chris, but we used to have an old Ford. I hate to even admit that I drove the Ford, but we had
You
that old
did
Ford.
have a Ford.
Yeah, unfortunately, but it caught on fire and we were in big trouble. And one of our racers came down and picked the trailer up that time. I think they took it to Mount Pleasant, if I remember right. And then shortly after, Jason gave me a call and want to know if we could come out there to Carl Chevrolet. And Jason you were the online sales, weren't you?
Yep. I was at the time selling vehicles. I did for a couple years, and then I went on to management there for 3 years. But during the sales portion of that, while we were racing, Carl had a pretty cool program where he would match funds. So if you thought there was a program in the community worth sponsoring and you were willing to throw your money at it, he would match whatever you would put at it. So we kind of went back and we calculated what would it cost to have, and we had this pickup that seemed perfect for what you needed for the series. What would a lease payment be? And it was supposed to be a couple year program, maybe 3 years. And I kind of they forgot about it maybe, but they
I think
kept
so.
paying for it, and the truck's still there.
Yep. So we got that done, saved us once, and just a gift that keeps on giving, I guess.
Yeah.
And then Jason, you gotten out of the car sales, and now where are you?
Currently, I am selling real estate for Century 21. Our brokers are out of Ankeny's, kind of our headquarters. I live in Altoona. I've got a team now that's in. One lives in Boone, two in Ames, one in Waukee, one in urban Des Moines, and then myself in Altoona. So we kind of cover this whole Des Moines, Ames area.
Very cool. So how long have you been selling properties then?
7 years ago. This May is my 7th year anniversary that I got licensed. Hit the ground running. That again, have a nice network of people, maybe from the car business, and all the different things that we've done over the years. And so this has been a really good way to take the car. I mean, I took my job pretty serious at Carl's. I loved helping people drive home in a new vehicle. And this has been a really good blessing. I don't know if you guys know the biggest difference between cars and houses when it comes to sales, but for me, when I worked at Carl Chevrolet, I sat on the other side of the desk, if you will. We'll be friends, we can talk, but we're not going to be on the same side of the desk. When it comes to houses and working together to find homes, properties, sold a lot of acreages and land, we're on the same team, and there's nobody in the middle that says, hey, you need to go get another $1,000 from these guys. The client gets to dictate the terms, and I work for them, and it's a lot of fun.
Very cool. I can't imagine anything being right up your alley more than this. You've always been a great people person, and every time I've seen you, you've always looked out for, whether it be your race team or your family or something. So it just seems like this would be right up your alley.
It's wonderful. We do a lot of buys and a lot of sells. It's been 50-50 currently with some of the programs I'm doing with advertising. We're probably 70% buyers, and they're the most fun because you really get to see people dream about their families, where their furniture is going to go, how they're going to use the space, where they're going to put their four-wheeler in the garage. And you get to see those dreams come true, and once they sign on the line, it's just a lot of excitement. Everybody's happy, and I'm just really blessed to be able to be a part of that.
Very cool. And as always, we've seen you dig your heels in everywhere you've went, and you did really well at Carl's, and then obviously the racing and stuff. And we were talking the other day. Can you bring us up to speed on your history and kind of where you're at right now with your sales?
Yeah, last year was a really, really fun time. I'm competitive. I don't know if anybody knows that about me, but one of the things that we were looking at, from the very beginning, they always had the top 100. And in the beginning of my career, it was 5 states, and that was a goal I had for my first full year, was to get in the top 100 for the 5 state area. Well, and then the next year I did that, and the next year they switched it to just Iowa. So, and we've started pursuing nationally. Century 21 has 50,000 agents nationally, and we want to still be careful. I mean, I'm just really blessed. Last year we were 28th for dollars, like gross dollars, and 13th for units in the country. Had all those people, and again, I've got a lot of great clients. A lot of people refer me. A lot of people work with me, and again, I hope that I know a lot about real estate at this point. We've, it was 105 houses last year is what was the number, and it was a very good number for me. I hope we can do more this year. It looks like we will, but that was quite a milestone. Break 100.
That's pretty darn cool.
Yeah.
Jason, you're the first real estate agent we've ever dealt with within the series. That's
unbelievable.
It is. I figured that would have happened a long time ago, but we just never had the right fit till now. So, but we're excited.
Andy, I'm happy to do it. I got to see firsthand when we were at Carl Chevrolet, and my wife helped me, and Angela was, we raced together, we worked together, and now I've got to do this without her, but she still very much has to listen to what's going on in my world. And the thing that we talked about as we talked about sponsoring the series, because I mentioned to her I thought would be a good fit. She's like, absolutely, because we saw how many people from the series were willing to take a chance on us and give us a shot at earning their business on the vehicle. And I think this is a no-brainer. I should have done it a long time ago when we started having success. Obviously, when you start out in real estate, there's no guarantees, but should have called you a couple of years ago, because I know that the series will support us. I'm sure they will.
Well, I sure appreciate the opportunity to even partner up with you on this. So you mentioned where all your agents are, and obviously, with the series, we have people all over the state, Missouri, usually about 5 states. Used to be about 7 every time. But what's the process like if I am wanting to start looking for a house and I'm saying Sheraton? Is that something I can still reach out to you?
Oh, I'm glad you asked. Yeah, the real estate's an interesting profession because we have a network, and that's one of the things that we're working on all the time is who's going to be an agent in that area where I can't service. We can't be something to everybody over 50 states, but we can have contacts with people. And, I'd be happy to reach out to contacts in any area. I've got them, all the way down in Missouri, and we've got offices that stretch all the way into Illinois. And we've got agents licensed in Minnesota and Nebraska. So we're everywhere, and just a matter of, hey, where are you looking? And we'll find somebody that's a good fit that will help you.
So, I'm going to relate this to our dealers, Jason. I always talk about our preferred dealers of the series, power sports dealers. And I don't mean to knock anybody, but there's just a lot of dealers out there that'll sit there and wait for you to come in the door. And then there's some that want to get out there and be a part of everything to help people to bring into it. And that just seems like this is a perfect fit for you. Is our racers now, like you said, are very loyal. I've always felt you're out here reaching out to be a part of this series and stuff. So this is something that I feel like almost every one of our riders, if they start getting in this situation where they're looking at buying a rental home, or they're wanting to buy a piece of ground, or maybe move or sell their own property, that's something they can at least reach out to you. And if it doesn't work, it don't work, but at least give you that opportunity to help them and get them in the right fit.
This is a repeat referral business. Unlike Carl Chevrolet, there are a lot of people just drive on the lot. Hey, we were driving down the interstate and saw a pickup by the road. There's none of that business in this world. So we rely heavily on repeat referral business. And yeah, anybody that knows somebody that's looking or that looking themselves, I'd love to talk to them.
Cool. Well, I'll tell you what, it's not a huge deal, but can you let me know if you have somebody that calls you or gets something worked out with you?
Yeah, absolutely.
If we do that, if you remember right at at Carl, when you would sell a vehicle, remember what we used to do for them through the series? We would allow them to race for the year for free. So why don't we do that same thing? If any of our guys or gals reach out to you and end up going through you for a house and stuff, just as a little bonus from us, we'll do that same thing.
Oh, wow. That's
Wow.
awesome.
I'm excited to see this. I know you're not expecting, a ton out of this to start out with, but I'm just the opposite. I think our people are going to rise to the occasion, and there's so many houses. I've heard, I don't know how many of our racers I've had conversations with in the last year that's moved or is looking at moving, looking for a property. So now that we have a place for them to go to and know that they're supporting the series and the series is going to be supporting them, it's a win-win situation.
Oh, man, that's really cool. I really like that idea.
So,
Yeah.
So we talking, and I don't know if I think I called Chris. I told my wife and everything. I was like, man, Mickelson's back, and just got this call. I think we called you originally, just so everybody knows it's not something that we called Jason and said, Jason, would you want to get involved again? This is somebody that did the same thing he did last time, and he reached out wanting to support and help. It wasn't something that, somebody called him. This is his initiative. And then not only that, so we're talking on the podcast about your racing and stuff. And we have this crazy thing. I think Chris is the one that brought it up about our Honda 90s and Honda 90 series that we're doing. Supposed to be just having a little bit of fun. And then here we go with Jason again. Jason, what did you have to say about that Honda 90?
That sounded like a perfect opportunity to do more. Obviously, you and I talked about let's get the sponsorship going for the series, but I really like to have something that we can put, some emphasis on and have a lot of fun. And this sounded like a perfect way to do even more because I didn't feel like we were doing enough yet. So it sounded like we needed a title belt for the winner, right? And how are we going to fund that? So we'll be happy to purchase that belt and have some fun with that. But then I'm like, why don't we need to get some people motivated? We need some money at this. Throw this thing to a new level where let's have some fun and have some winners out there. And I think we left it up to you guys a little bit how this money gets split. But depending on how many people go, 10, 20, 30 people enter in this thing, we're going to up the grand prize.
So we were talking. So we've got a dollar amount. I don't know if Jason wants to disclose that, but we really, are trying to see and kind of fill out. I put some fillers out there the last couple of weeks on who's serious about this mini and who wants to participate in it. So we're hearing it live. I'll get something posted out there tonight or in the morning with the link to the entry form so we can start getting those entry forms filled out.
How many are you committing to, Chris?
What was that question?
How many are you committing to?
We're really looking and hoping for at least 20. I mean, anything over 20 would be nice. Our goal to make this series, except this little mini series, is 20. If we can get 30, that's even better.
I wasn't generous enough the other night. I think we're going to have to make it. What do you guys think about 500 and 250 if you get 20 people to do this? And you just got to do a couple of legs of it. You don't have to do the whole thing to be entered in the whole thing to win. But if we can get 20 people to do 2 or more events in this series, do 500 for the winner and 250 for second.
Whoa, that's even more than what we talked about just a couple days ago.
I know. You get 30. We'll go ahead and add another 250 to the pot. But
okay, well, you guys are hearing it. Those that are live with us, this wow, this is quite a lot of money, Jason. 500.
I want to make sure we have a good show.
And 250. Well, the thought is that we would kind of do this series all throughout the year, and at the banquet, the 2024 banquet in January of 2025, we would go ahead and present the winner and second place with their winnings, along with maybe an opportunity with a couple photos with you if you can make it.
We'll bring the $1 bills.
Okay. There's no casino attached to
Oh.
Honey Creek.
Okay, well, I just wanted to make it seem like a stack.
Yeah,
Okay.
there you go. Well,
All right.
Chris, I just had another idea too. We've talked to, this is what, the third time we've talked to Jason,
Yes,
and this stuff just keeps changing. What do
I
we
know.
say about bringing him on as a weekly guest?
I was just going to ask him what's he doing next week.
I gotta go to Florida too.
You guys telling me something here? I'm just not invited or what?
No.
I see how you two are. Well,
I had
Jason,
no
that's
idea what's going.
Jason, that's really cool of you guys to do. I really appreciate it. And I know the riders are going to be really stoked to hear this too. We have a couple fun things going this year with obviously the 90 mini series. And then we have our whole shot challenge that Tyrell Kerr stepped up at the banquet. And those are both two things that Chris and I just started having fun with this. And it was going to be just a little fun deal. Now I think things are going to get ramped up just a little bit. I'm sure there won't be any bumping going on in the adult 90s.
Be safe out there.
Yeah. Well, we've also already seen a picture or two of a 90 finish, so we know they're getting them ready.
Guys are putting some time and effort into, instead of just buying one and having it done, some of them are making them look really nice for this thing, and we're excited to see them. So Jason, once again, man, that's just it's a huge deal. Some people, might look at this opportunity and it may not work for them, but I think you're going to see more people when they see how much fun these guys are having and start buying into this concept and just have a fun. And I think you'd be a great one to ask, Honda 90 that you can change the oil in once a year, maybe wash it a couple times a year. Other than that, I mean, you're going to get bored with not having any maintenance, aren't you?
Oh, sounds like an easy keeper to me.
Yeah.
Wait a minute. Me not having any maintenance? Yeah. Oh, I told you I'll have to talk. We're a team here. We're a partnership, so I'll have to talk to the boss.
It wouldn't surprise me a bit to see Angela out there.
Sure. Yeah.
Wow.
The only way it'd work is if we had two of them.
Oh,
gotcha.
Well, one of the events is a pit stop challenge. So, it is going to take a crew.
And that's fun. That to me is the thing that I remember most is all the fun we had with the pits before the race, during the race, after the race. So a lot of good family memories from this.
Yeah, it should be fun. Looking forward to it. Well, Jason, we definitely thank you for the continued support that you've given throughout the years and stuff. And happy for you and proud of you for what you've kind of dug into now. And it looks like everything's going good for you and your family. And we're excited to be a part of it.
Well, thanks again. I appreciate the opportunity. And thanks for letting me come on and talk about it too.
Yep. Anytime. And we're going to get some stuff figured out where we can communicate between you and the riders to make sure they know where. But right now, in closing, Jason, where can the riders go to right now if they're interested in just looking at houses or something? What's your website?
FindIowaProperty.com is my website, and I'm going to be just up front. That's my cell phone in the top corner of the screen, and as long as it looks the same to everybody else, and my cell phone's always on, and I want people to call me, so anytime.
Very cool. And we'll make sure that you'll find Jason's info on our website. It's already out there with the link to his website as well, and has your phone number and everything out there. So we're excited to see this, and there'll be some banner out there this year and stuff for you. So we're excited, and we'll stay in communication on how things are going.
All right. Can't wait.
One on our, maybe thinking on our post-race podcast, we kind of keep everybody informed how it's going.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Jason know as well.
Can't wait to hear hands-on helmets again.
There we go.
All right. Thank you, Jason.
All right. Thank you, guys.
See ya.
Wow. That was
Jason.
We forgot to ask.
Ceases to amaze us.
I know that's quite a big chunk of money. And I feel honestly, that's just one sponsor. I believe we're going to there's potential for more. There's some behind the scenes talk. Some even fellow racers are going to throw up some cash as well. So it'll be fun, even if you're not racing. It's the entertainment value. Bring the family to watch. It is included and going on in between our youth and our mini classes. So yeah, to be entertaining.
And that's going to be the biggest part, is actually making sure everybody are lined up there. We'll get the whole schedule out, as we get closer, but I think we already put a rough schedule out, but making sure everybody's there and ready to go on time, because you will get left. We don't have time to wait. We don't want to put the racing, the normal racing behind schedule by doing this. So it's going to be it's a fun deal to kind of fill in, in between. So
yeah,
a lot of entertainment. Now we've already got 20 riders. We got $750. That's absolutely insane to what I ever thought it would be at. So
yeah. So yeah. So we have Tyloo about ready to join us, Chad Bottorff. Let's see, he is ready. Let's go ahead and bring him on. Welcome, Chad.
Hey guys.
How are you today?
Not too bad.
Good. So you became the local representative for Tyloo. How'd that come about?
It's something I kind of been wanting to do. It's a product I already run, so I figured I already run it, so why not try to sell it and give back to the series a little bit with it as well.
Yeah, and speaking of the series, you've been involved. Well, your whole family of 5 has been involved in the series. You and Ashley, your wife, both joined in 2008, correct?
Yep. 2008 was our first year. She started racing, and it was fun watching and pit crewing, but I wanted to be out there too, so I decided to buy a Yamaha Blaster, which I learned quickly was kind of a mistake for a fella my size to be riding, but that's where the budget was at the time. So I ran that 2 races, and that's about all she lasted. First race was Mount Pleasant on a Blaster.
Hey, whatever it takes.
Yeah.
Yep.
All about having fun. You're
Exactly.
still smiling, so that's good.
Yeah.
Yep.
All about the experience.
Yep.
So,
definitely a good
cool.
time.
So you kind of you came up with a program. You want to talk a little bit about this program? I think you're calling it the Top Gun Award.
Yeah.
What's it entail?
Tyloo Top Gun Award. Basically what we're going to do is everybody in every class, side by sides, kids and adults, are going to have a chance to receive this award. I'm going to pick 2 adult classes per race, 1 kids class, and 1 side by side. If your class was picked that day, it'll be now announced before the races. If you win, you get a $20 gift certificate to come over and spin with me at the Tyloo booth, because I will be set up at every race with product on hand. So it can be spent anytime this season. I'd like spent before the end of the season, but it can be spent anytime with me at any of the races. And you'd receive it up at the podium. I'll hand it to you up there. And at the end of the year, at the banquet, we're going to do basically a Top Gun Award championship. So if you've won, any time you've won, your name will be put in a drawing. And at that banquet, we'll draw something big. I'm not going to announce that yet, but I promise it'll be worth your while.
So let's go ahead and talk about, you said that each event you're going to pick a class. So you're going to rotate all the classes so we can get a winner from each class, correct, throughout the year? And it won't always be first place. It could be second place, third place. It's going to be random, correct?
Yep, it could be random. Like I said, the side-by-sides with only being 3 classes, they obviously are going to have more of a chance to win than the adults. It's got 14 classes, I believe.
15 now.
But, yep. So they'd have, so for them, I might mix it up a little bit just to be a little bit silly, since everybody had a chance in that class. But at the end of the season, they'll only have their name put in once so they're not going to have a better chance. If the same guy happened to win it each time in that, they're still only getting one chance at that final drawing.
Gotcha. And that final drawing is going to be at this year end award's going to be at the banquet in January 2025. Correct?
Yes, that's correct.
Now, so tell us a little bit. So you're going to have all this product at each race. I'm understanding you're going to have the Tide Lube van, and a Easy Up, correct?
Yep. I will be easy to find.
Just look for the Tide Lube logo, right?
Exactly.
So what kind of products that can our racers purchase from you, or what products does Tide Lube offer that our fellow racers can look into using?
We offer a wide variety of stuff. We have our power sports part of it, many different engine oils, for your gearboxes, training fluid, all of your brake clean, chain lube, all the good stuff, carburetor cleaner. We offer a product that is a air filter cleaner that is amazing. I saw the video. Ashley actually sent me the video of it before I really even knew what the product was, a couple years ago maybe, and it was one of those TikTok videos that like you thought it was a gimmick because it worked so well. The stuff you dump it in a little bucket and you can use it multiple times. Usually you've got your spray, you spray it on there, you're making a mess, you let it sit for a little bit, you go to your garden hose, you spray it all off, you hope you got everything. This stuff, you dunk it in this bucket, you take it out, you go over to your hose, you rinse it out, it turns into a soap, and it's completely clean. And you keep reusing that bucket. Like you can use it up to 10 times, even more, on the same cleaner, cleaning your air filters. And one thing we know as cross-country racers, you're either in the mud or you're in the dust, and those filters get clogged. So that's another one of the products we offer on top of all our oils.
Are you going
Along
to be
with
set up
some
with
cleaner?
Sorry.
Oh, go ahead.
My bad. I was just going to ask.
We
You mentioned that. First thing I thought of, sorry, Chad, when you were talking there about the cleaner, was the Heartland. All the time we see guys, dusty race out there cleaning their air filters, even during the race. That sounds like a perfect, product for them to be having sitting there at their pits at the Heartland, where they can just clean a filter real quick and have it ready to go.
Exactly. Do that. Throw it on a fan for a little bit, and throw your oil back on it, and you're ready.
Very cool.
So, besides all the Tide Lube performance products, you're going to have fuel there at each race. Is that correct? And what kind of fuel?
Yeah. I've got all of our Tide fuel products. There's a bunch of different ones. I think I put on the Iowa Facebook page a couple times. Different ones that we offer. It's kind of got the specs on them there too. I can also get Renegade if that's what you prefer. I'll have usually I'll have like the 110 on stock, or if anybody wants to pre-order stuff, I'll have it down there. But I'll also always have extra with me. I won't just bring what people ordered. I can get it in 5 gallons. I can get it up to 55-gallon drums if that's what you're wanting. That's what our family's done with having 5 machines. We usually just got a 55-gallon drum for the year, and it typically saves you a little bit of money, ordering that way in bulk.
Very cool. And that's something that probably help you as well too, if guys are let's face it, everybody knows that buying race fuel, having to go find a place that sells it, number one's hard. Number two, having to go somewhere to get it and then haul it back to the track. It only seems like an obvious choice is just to call Chad and have him bring the race fuel you need right there to the track.
Yeah. So, Chad, how does somebody go about getting a hold of you? What's their best contact information?
You can get a hold of me on my Facebook page. You can just send me a text on my phone, even call me 515 577-5869. Those are two good ways to get a hold of me on there.
Cool. Very nice. So I don't know if you mentioned or seen our last house, but maybe you can get hooked up with Jason Mickelson and make sure every house that he sells also is a Tide Lube representative too.
There we go.
So Chad, there was something else you and I were talking about what else you were doing this year. I think it's pretty cool what you had talked about. You want to let everybody else know just to hear the cool thing you're doing with the track guys?
Yeah. That's one thing that you want to support your racers. It's one thing I don't see a lot of is we'd like to support the track crew. They put on probably way more longer miles and harder miles than we do as racers, and their engines need oil also. So we're sponsoring the track crew their oil changes this year.
That's very cool.
Oh.
I think a lot of people really appreciate that. And to me, I mean, don't get me wrong, I like Tide Lube, but just hearing what you're doing there for the people out supporting them kids, and that's the one thing too, is a lot of the track crew, the guys on the track they got their own machines there. They got their own rigs there, to be able to do this. And so for Tide Lube and yourself to do that, that means the world to us. I really appreciate that.
Not a problem.
And just so Chris don't con you out anything, he never brings a machine to the track. So
Ooh.
We can get some spray lube on the wheels on his electric bike. I'm sure I can come up with something.
Yeah.
I got chain lube, and
we were having, we were, prepping for the podcast. So Chad was looking for something kind of tooting around with. So I was trying to plug my Super 73 that I usually have at the races, or if some kid doesn't take off with it, that it's normally there, gas free, but it might need some chain lube.
Very cool. No, I think that's really neat, Chad. I appreciate you putting that program together, and I look forward to seeing a lot of guys take advantage of it. And, just to be clear, I mean, you're good for the UTVs, for the ATVs, the youth machines can all run your product, correct?
Yep.
And then there's
the only thing I don't have a good product for yet that we're working on is like the differentials on the side-by-sides, but I've got something
Gotcha.
for everything else.
And there's another product that a lot of people at the track have that maybe be overlooking this, but for their generators and stuff. You've probably got the right product for that too.
Yep. I run our oil and our generators. I mean, I've had times I ran out of fuel and I've dumped a little 110 in the generator to get through the rest of the night also, but.
Well, isn't that a really good idea though? This may be something people don't even know about, so I'm just getting into it, but for like a generator, even your race machine, even if you don't use race fuel, I've always heard it's a great thing to put that in over the winter, to store it. Kind of keeps everything nice and safe, doesn't let it gum up and stuff.
Yep. It doesn't draw as much moisture and stuff like that. No ethanol in it. I mean, that's a killer for any small motor. Those carburetors don't like sitting with any of that in it over winter time. Yeah.
And that generator oil, does that work for, do you have two different ones, one for like a loud generator and one for a quiet generator?
The loud one is what I keep in mind usually. And it works best if you drill holes in the muffler and you point it towards Paul Sirk's trailer.
Oh, there you go.
Oh. We just got a question. How to quiet down a generator?
Yeah. Oh, shoot.
I keep threatening the guys I'm going to bring back the old Briggs generator you could hear from 10 miles away, but.
Very cool. So have you had much response yet from riders since you've ever, or this may be the first time that a lot of people really have known? I know you've put it out there on Facebook and stuff.
Yeah. I've had some inquiries about fuel. I've got some orders already to bring to the first race. I've had a couple guys even pick some stuff up from me. If anybody's needing anything before the race, I can get some oil shipped and stuff like that. Fuel's harder for me to get to you beforehand. I'd prefer that picked up at the race, or if you're somewhere local to me, you can pick it up from me in Indian Oil also.
And I know, not to keep going back to the Heartland, Chad, but the Heartland, it seems like every year there's always barrels of fuel there that people try to get bought and have delivered to the track. Is that something you're looking at maybe doing also?
Yep. If I get enough orders of large barrels, I will find a way to get them there.
Gotcha. Okay. Very cool.
So Chad, when we talked the other night, you were telling us a story, or telling me a story about Ashley's quad and an unlucky evergreen tree. You want to kind of tell everybody the testimonial about Ty Lube oil?
Yeah. One reason I swear by this oil is a lot of people do know my wife and know that until this last season, she has raced the Honda 400 since 2008, the same one. You can see at the bottom here, that hole is not supposed to be there. That is at the bottom of the oil tank. She got into the evergreen section at Murray, and a stick went right through the tank. She did not know it. She kept going until the motor shut off. Honda 400s do not have a safety switch on them, so that motor shut itself down. And I saw her not coming through. It was about the last lap, and next thing I know, here's Brady pulling her up, and I looked down at her boots, and everything's just covered in oil. And it took me a while to figure out where it came from. And I'm sitting there stewing about it, thinking, how am I going to get a motor done in this short amount of time again for the next race?
Yeah.
And so I just reached up and I want to see if this thing's stuck. And I hit the button. It turned over once, and I just left it alone. We brought it home. I got it cleaned up. Took it up to Kurt Cornelius. We pulled it apart, and there was nothing wrong with that motor. It shut itself down. There was no burnt oil inside of it. I think we did rings and ran a finishing hone down it just because we had it apart and put it back together, and that thing never missed a beat. So that was a big selling point for me on the oil. And Shane Austin has had similar situation on his Can-Am and Polaris. He was telling me, he goes, I can't tell you how many times this oil has saved my motor. He blew a head gasket, not realizing it, overheated it real bad. The internals still look brand new, he said, when he tore the machine apart. So my thought always is oil's a super cheap insurance as a racer. It's one of the easiest things to do for maintenance on your machine. I change oil. Back in the day, I really changed it as every single race, and gets a little busy sometimes with wrenching on everybody's machine and coaching 3 soccer teams on top of it. And my nights start about 9 o'clock out in the shop during race season. So there's, not gonna lie, there's times that I might push the second race out of that oil, but it is the cheapest insurance that you can do as a racer. It's having $20-$30 take you out of a race, out of a machine that you've invested so much time and money into. Just change that oil.
That's good words to go by, that's for sure. So you mentioned typically you guys have 5. What's the schedule for this year for you guys is racing?
For how many of us are racing?
Yeah, classes and everything.
I'm sitting this year out. Taking on doing the Ty Lube rep. I didn't think it would just need to add another thing to it. So dad's taking the sideline here, and Ashley's coming back for women's. I'm sure her and Peyton are going to be battling it out again. Those two are a lot of fun to watch race, and they're good friends. This makes it even better. Xander Mann's goal was hitting top 10 this year for 90. It was his first year last year after going from his Kimco into his 90, and he came up to me after the first couple races, and he's like, "Dad, I think I was faster on my Kimco." And it's like, buddy, it's that getting used to shifting part of it. The power band is a completely different animal on that stock 90 machine, but he always finished with a smile on his face. And Awin and Dean kind of go back and forth on the woods. Awin says she's ready, and She raced one race last year, and I think Dad lost about 10 years off his life following her around. I saw the bottom of the machine a couple times, but anytime something happened, we'd stop at the bottom. We'd talk about what you did right, what you did wrong, and we kept rocking and rolling. And Deegan, as much as he loves playing with rocks and trees, he does not like riding over them. So I think he's a little flat tracker. So, if he wants to try the woods again, I'll obviously always let him. But I think I'm going to run him up to Newton Kart Club this year and let him do some circle track on that little
nice.
Kimco. And like that, we might just slam that to the ground on some go-kart tires and let him rip her out in there and see if Awen wants to also.
Very nice. Huh. Cool. Well, that sounds awesome. Would you have, Chris? Anything?
No, I can't thank you enough for helping out the crew. I'm sure, Paul was making some comments about your New Jersey generator, but I think after your announcement that Paul says, go ahead and point it right at his window.
I know Amy always enjoys it as well.
Yeah.
No, it's really nice. I mean, nobody truly understands it as far as our track group guys, how much time, you think that an adult, you guys race for 2 hours. Well, there's 3 other race sessions that day that these guys are out there on the machines up to 10, 12 hours because they're out there at the crack of dawn, just making sure, taking a lap around the track, make sure all the arrows are up where they should be, caution tapes up so that first youth race goes off without a hitch. So it's tremendous. I'm sure that these guys have to at least change their oil every race, if not every other race. Andy, how often do you change your oil?
Chris, you're breaking up really bad. I can't hear you. A lot of static going on right now.
I think those generators, we're lucky once a year, and they run.
I'll have you know that I came in here before I was doing the trailers. They're all empty right now. I'm changing the oil on them right now. So let's just leave it at that.
Throwing some new tie lube in there.
Yeah.
So,
cool.
Yeah.
Well, that sounds great, Chad. I appreciate you coming on. That's
thanks for having me.
Really cool thing, and I'm looking forward to seeing that tie lube tent up at the races and people getting to experience it. So thank you.
Definitely, no problem.
All right, thanks, Chad.
Thanks.
Wow,
that's pretty cool what he's got going on.
We were talking, and it's great. Great to be involved in the series, especially, they've been 12 years, 13 years that Chad and Ashley have been involved in the series. Something to give back, and it's good to see. Chad was kind of talking earlier. They want to amp it up next year. This is just kind of a filler to see how things go. But more things to come.
Yeah.
So
I'll tell you what, Chris, I am super excited for this next one.
Oh, I am too here. So it's kind of like we're changing gears. We're all 4-wheeler guys. But the next one is kind of a different adventure you and I are kind of going down, or different path. You've kind of known this family. I won't want to spoil how many years, but of at least 2-3 decades, correct?
Yeah, since I think I met them in 1993, to be exact.
Yeah. So without further ado, let's go ahead and bring them on, and we'll kind of talk about the history of how the family, kind of what Jack's up to, and what we can look forward to this year. Welcome, Jack.
Hey, I thought we'd have a better intro than just welcome, Jack.
What? I'm not. Oh,
not prepared.
We do have a little teaser here for you, Jack. I'm going to go ahead and play it. We're all going to go mute, and then we won't be able to talk. But cool little intro for Jack.
Are you ready? Are you ready?
that a little better?
Yeah.
That's a little better. That kind of gets
Go ahead.
everybody pumped up.
We could get the audience calmed down here. It's a little loud.
Well, man, I am super excited for this, Chris. I know we got a lot of guests, and we love our race family. Just getting a little bit of out of bounds right now for our kind of racing, and we got Jack Anderson, the 7A driver at Knoxville. Jack, I got to tell a little bit story before I give you the airtime, okay? And this is going back to when you weren't even a thought when this was all happening. But back in my day, I wanted to race so gosh darn bad. And it seemed to me like the best thing I could get into right then was go-karting. And so I remember going and buying a go-kart that you would have never sat in. It was one that had been set and rusting probably for 20 years, and I was trying to figure out how to get things done. I remember I bought a hood at a swap meet or somewhere for my go-kart, and I need to get it painted. And at the time, believe it or not, where Jack Anderson Auto Body is, I actually lived in the apartment complex right across from it. And I'd drive by there all the time, never met your grandpa, none of the family, anything until that point. And I walked in there one night, and I was a little nervous because Jack could be a little intimidating at times with that voice, deep voice and everything. And no joke, this is how it happened. I walked in there, and all I was going to do is ask him to paint my hood and see what it would cost. And I walked in, I explained to him that, hey, I got a go-kart. I'm wanting to get a hood painted, and I'm going to start racing. And he goes, be here on Friday night. Didn't ask me anything else, just said, be here on Friday night. And I was like, excuse me? He goes, be here on Friday night. And about that time, a customer walked in, and we were talking about racing, and it was, I don't know what time it was, but the customer said something about asking a question. He goes, we're closed. And I was like, uh-oh. And I remember him walking over and grabbing the torch and lighting his cigarette when the lady had said something about like, it says you're open. And he lit his cigarette with the torch, walked over, pulled the chain, and said, we're closed. He goes, it's race time. And we started talking about racing, and he invited me to come over that Friday night. And I went over there, and your dad and the whole family was over there, a couple other guys working on go-karts. And that was the start of the Kiners knowing the Andersons. And your grandpa he was a special guy. And he was, over the years, he became like a second dad to me. And just had a lot of respect for that guy. Got to see your dad grow up right here. Yeah. There's your dad. He might get mad at me for using that picture, but that was Big Jack talking to little Johnny back then. I think Johnny, if I remember right, was probably around that 12 or 13, maybe at the most right there.
Yeah.
But,
I'm pretty sure he still has that suit that he's wearing right there. I think it's in my aunt's basement right now. I think he still has that suit somewhere.
Has he tried it on lately?
Oh, God, no. He has tried on his old racing suits, though, from before he retired. He has tried those ones on since he's lost weight. So he always gives me crap as if I don't do too good. He's going to pull me out, and he's hopping back in it and going for a spin.
So we got to race go-karts with your family, your grandma and grandpa and your aunt and your dad and everybody all over the country, and had just a blast, learned so much, and you just couldn't ask for a better family to be a part of. And with our series, Jack, we're all about family. It's the racing ends up being the small part of our weekends. It's the family and the friends around you. And that's something that I learned at a young age from your family as well. So we're super excited. And we see that, from the years we followed you getting started in the go-karts and following your dad's footsteps. And I think there's your dad's sprint car. Looks just like a 7A that we see now. And I still remember the first day your dad went to the track with that sprint car. And we're just going to go through some of these pictures really quick, Jack, and then we're going to let you get on here. But I found this so cool. We had to share it. Your Aunt Kelly sent me this picture up here with It's the first time, I guess, that they brought you home, or maybe over to Jack's place, Grandpa's, and the first place he set you was on your dad's sprint car.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I got one of those pictures for Christmas, and it's all framed up, and I'm getting ready to hang it up. Well, I got a bunch of pictures from when I was a baby and with Grandpa, and I'm getting ready to get one of those hung up. I like that picture.
That's something special right there. So, and then we see, I think this one was from your King of the Concrete. Is that right?
Yeah.
How old were you then?
10, 11.
Wow.
Because we went down there with the DeYoungs, and like you said earlier about family, McGuire DeYoung, he races modifieds now, and he won at Bristol for the dirt thing. I was always chasing him. He was always one of those guys. Well, I was always trying to be like when I was first starting out, and I was always chasing him. And I got the opportunity to go down and drive for Matt with McGuire because he was racing junior 2s and racing junior 1s. And McGuire was always a great mentor to me and taught me a lot. We had a lot of good races, especially the IKF Nationals and all whenever we ran Maxis. But yeah, he's a great mentor to me, and he was one of the reasons why I pushed myself, and my dad pushed me, and we just kept fighting to get better and better every single week.
Dang.
Wow, that's cool. Very cool. See if we can get some more of these pictures here showing you and your. Tell us about these two real quick.
The one in the flat car when I'm number 61. That was whenever I won my first ever leather jacket. It was a New Year's race, the Nebraska Kart Shootout 2017, turning into 2017 that night. This was probably one of my best go-karting runs I probably ever had. I came from, I want to say 12th to the win, and it was I passed him with 2 to go, and that one was pretty special for me. It really kind of just and that going into that next year kind of lit a spark, and we won a lot of races in the 2017 season, winning the Triple Crown Championship, being the first ever Maxis Series racer to win a Triple Crown, and that was a pretty cool deal. We had a really, really good 2017 season. We started out great, obviously winning the shootout.
Wow, very cool. And then you put a wing over you.
Yeah. Then mid 2020 we put a wing on it, and I think that's the first time. I think that's the first English Creek Nationals we won, because we showed up the week before to test, and we crashed. We got crashed out, and then and when we went back another week before the Nationals, crashed out again. And going into the Nationals, I had zero confidence. When we were fast, there's just so many crashes. It's kind of hard to dodge a lot of the wrecks, and part of it was my fault. But going into the Nationals, we were going to the dash. We passed for the leading the dash against Gage Stevens and Jacob Peterson. They both are. Jacob Peterson runs 305s now up at Husitz, and Gage Stevens running 500s down there at English Creek now. And I passed for leading the dash. We blew up an engine, and we thought we blew it up completely, but we're still able to go out there for the game and started 6 and ended up winning that one. So that one was a pretty cool one.
Wow. Very cool. And then from there.
Once you put this wing on, it never came back off, right? You stayed wings?
Yep. I don't think I've raced a fly car since 2020 or anything without a wing.
So this right here really touched home with me, Jack. I see your dad here and a young Jack, and I don't know what's your guess there on age you were maybe?
I was going to say 10, 11, because that's when we first got with the Kellys, because if I look at my t-shirt, after 2017, we sold all of our stuff, and I was supposed to be done racing, actually, and then we got a call from the Kelly family, Chad Kelly, Cooper Kelly, and we raced for them for a good 3 years after that, and I think that was when this first happened.
Wow.
Huh. So you and your dad at such a young age sitting there checking out the dirt and the track at Knoxville Raceway, and that has to bring back some special memories.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, I remember when I was from all ages, whenever I was down there working for Cade Higday, learning some things, Josh, Levitt, those guys are all like family to me, because I've grown up around them. Like I've known Cade since I can remember. We used to ride bikes around my cul-de-sac when I was really, really little, and just seeing what he's came to and getting to work for him before I get my journey started in a sprint car I could just remember sitting down there with some of my friends, obviously Kelly, Grandma, in the infield and the back of the truck, just watching. I'm like, man, I really want to be able to do that someday. And it's kind of, obviously, it's a dream come true getting to do it going into my second season. I mean, I love doing it. I mean, I wouldn't choose anything else in the world to be doing besides this. It's so much fun.
So is that something, I think you kind of keyed on it there, but is that something that you knew at a very young age that is my goal? That's where I want to be?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, that's always been the main goal. Is the dream is go run Knoxville or Outlaws or whatever. I mean, we got to the Knoxville part. The Outlaws that's a lot. That's a whole nother task to climb to. That'd be a miracle to do that. But just racing in Knoxville itself, it's a miracle. It's so much fun. I love going down there. There's a lot of kids down there that I race against, like Cole Garner, Cam Martin. They all came from English Creek, and that's kind of a cool deal. And I'm sure, Alex Vandervoort. Yeah, there's a couple kids that came from English Creek too that I've known basically all my racing life, like my racetrack friends, and now that we're all racing at the same place, and I think that's kind of sweet.
Very cool. Well, we fast forward through all your karting days and everything, and now all the schooling that you've done with your dad at Knoxville and his background of being at Knoxville, and now here you are in the 7A car. Looks almost identical to what your dad's used to. And we go back to that family ties and everything again. And it doesn't surprise me that you're in a red race car. I'm sure you've heard this before. Your dad's probably said this, but your grandpa, Jack, used to say one thing all the time about racing. Race cars are red. What he always said was race cars are red. So it's didn't surprise me to see you back in a red 7A, and we just enjoy watching you, bud.
Yeah, I mean, it's just so deep in my blood because he ran. Now he's obviously number 7 with red on it. I mean, it's just following his footsteps. We might do something special for nationals because before Grandpa Jack passed, Dad and Grandpa we're always talking about inverting the colors, so have like a whole that color yellow body and wing, and then have all the sponsors be like a red look. I wish I took a picture because on iRacing, the simulator, I have what that would look like as on one of my cars.
Gotcha.
So I wish I would have took a picture of that because we might do that for the nationals. I think that'd be pretty cool, but it just depends on how much stuff I tear up. So hopefully not a lot. So I'm planning on hopefully having something cool for nationals.
Well, that's something too, Jack, that when we go to Knoxville, there's something I get frustrated with over there when I go to I'm sitting in the stands watching, and I know you've heard this before, but a lot of people be sitting in the stands. Can't wait for the first wreck. And I just hate that because even though it's entertainment, I suppose, but man, just the dent that it puts in somebody's racing, opportunity is just unbelievable,
100%. Because like last year, let's go back to my first season. Whenever I was running Sprint Invaders, we had kind of struggled with getting everything dialed in. My first race, we went to Oski and tested my first ever time. That went fine. Then we go to Burlington, and I was started near the back in the B main. I didn't heat race that well. I wasn't really comfortable yet. And then we came from like 15th and run like 6th, and top 4 made the A. And I go down and on a restart, I go down in turn 1. I go to stomp on the brakes, and my brakes went to my motor plate, and I had no brakes. And then, but luckily didn't hurt anything then. Then we went to Vinton. Brakes locked up when we got new brakes, and we couldn't finish the night. Then we go over to, I want to say Bloomfield for one of our last races of the year. It's a bigger track. Started on the pole, didn't get a great start. Fell back to 3rd behind Chase Randall and I want to say Paul Nienheiser. 2 very, very solid guys. I mean, they're both amazing. They win a bunch of races every single year. So I mean, I wasn't losing to anybody that wasn't really, really good. So that's a good thing. But then on a restart, I go down to turn 3, and I mean, I just junked this thing, and it was bad. We tore a lot of stuff up. We ripped half the front clip was ripped off. We hurt the engine. I think I read on the tach, it said 105 on the tach. So we way over cranked it. And I think we cracked the block. We tore some stuff up that one. That one was a pretty hard wreck.
Dang.
Yeah, well, it's not a great thing whenever we're killing race cars. It's not fun.
No, but that's the one thing I would say the very first thing I've always been impressed with you, Jack, is watching at Knoxville. You have done a very good job of keeping your nose clean down there and not getting into some of that stuff that's happening. And you've made some pretty sporadic moves I've seen,
Yeah.
where it's like, how did he just get around that?
How did he
So
make turn 2?
yeah.
Yeah. So we talk about it. It's not cheap running a sprint car, right?
Yeah.
And we were talking earlier that you've kind of been given an opportunity. You've gotten now a second car in the works, right?
Yes, sir.
Different equipment. We've also had a brief conversation. You have a new sponsorship that of Tylube, correct? That
Yes.
just got involved as well. So we just had Chad Bottorff on the podcast right before you. It was Tylube representative. It was kind of neat to see. Kind of we were bringing this podcast all together, tying in the Tylube, because it took some working. But Andy, you kind of want to kind of let everybody kind of know how you got that all worked out.
Oh, just an opportunity where, it's a thing with Jack this year. And a lot of people, I guess I didn't say that, but we're doing a little cross promotion with Jack this year. And it's such a cool opportunity to be able to work with these guys. And we want to have some fun. So we're going to be, Chris and I, we try to go down there as much as we can on, race or weekends that we're not racing, but we just want to create some opportunities for our riders and racers and the fans, and especially the youth, to go down there and see Jack race and just experience Knoxville as a whole. But now they're going to have a certain car to be rooting for every time. That's part of getting your ticket, is you got to root for Jack, right, Jack?
For sure, man. I mean, I'm really happy what we're doing here. I'm happy that we get to do this, and I'm really happy to meet some more of the ATV guys whenever you guys come out this spring. I'm really excited. It's all about the kids, man. I'm really excited we get to see all the kids again, because I remember watching them come down. Like this one particular kid, him and his dad would run down, and he's always be like, was I the first one here? He was always super happy to be down there. And I usually sat in my car before the whole rush came. It was a lot of fun getting to talk to these kids, because half of them were super nervous, but we used to go up and talk to them like, well, I'm still a kid. I'm only 16, So I just talk to them like we're both kids, and it makes them feel a lot more comfortable, instead of being around some of these older guys. It makes them feel a little bit more comfortable, I guess.
Yeah, we've been very impressed hanging around your pits after the races and how you handle the kids and the families and stuff that come down there. That's one neat thing about, Knoxville, is having that opportunity to experience that with the drivers and stuff. And that was a big part of actually when we started talking with Tylube about our series and trying to get them introduced to you guys, is just being able to tie the two together. And our worlds really aren't that far apart. It looks like it, but I mean, I know we can't take a sprint car through the timber, but I don't think the four-wheeler would be very good on the track either, so, but and the whole concept of like we talk all the time, is the family behind the racing and getting to spend it, and we used to come down to Knoxville and you see the campers out there, especially nationals and stuff, where all the campers and the families are there. You race on Saturday night, but how many times is everybody there on Friday, getting ready for the races or camping and stuff. And that's the big part. So like, if we can work on getting people to, cross over from us to you to us type situation, especially if it's a sponsor that can help out, we're always going to be there. I'm just glad Tylube was able to jump on board, and we're excited. It just gives people another reason to cheer for you this year, seeing that kind of stuff. And you've got a lot of local support, it sounds like, in that car. So tell us, what prepared you for like really dealing with the public? The racing's hard enough, but even on a bad night, or something's gotten torn up or a motor, we've came down there and I was very proud of you, because I couldn't tell if you won or if you wrecked, the way you were dealing with the presence of the kids and the fans and stuff there.
Yeah, I mean, that night that we blew up our engine, that one kind of hit me pretty tough, because I didn't know if we were going to be able to come back next week, because we only got one engine. And I mean, I was heartbroken, dude. I thought everything was going to be over. We're going to have to rebuild, wait till next year and try it all over again. Obviously, we got blessed with a loaner engine, and can't thank those guys enough. They wanted to stay private, but thank them enough for what they did for giving me an engine for last year. But because whenever all the kids come down there, I don't want to ruin their night, and because I don't want to make the parents angry because I'm not talking to their kid. Because I want them to all have a good time and come back, because I do care about all my fans and that come down, because I know I've seen some of these really little kids, like you put that picture up there. They're just always super happy to come down and see me. So I want to keep them happy, and it kind of makes my day a little bit better. Even though we had a really low, there's still a couple highs throughout the night.
Yeah, for sure. And something Chris and I's noticed too, when we first started coming down there, we had I think it was one of your first shirts you'd had and stuff, and you'd see one and it's like, oh, there's a Jack shirt, there's 7A, and then all of a sudden it became where like you weren't like real excited when you seen one, because you start seeing more and more of them. At the beginning is like seeing that first one, and now we're starting to see a lot more shirts. You got sounds like you got some more cool shirts coming out this year. Looks like a new design and stuff.
Yeah, our new shirts are pretty sweet looking. I'm really happy with how they're going to end up turning out. They're nice.
When do you expect to see them? For like first night or earlier?
Probably, yeah, we should have them by opening night. And this year we're going to have a couple more options of hats, not just it'll be a couple different logo. It's probably the same logo, but like different colors and stuff. I think I really like the hats a lot more than what we had last year. I think the hats are going to sell a lot more this year.
And you got kind of a new logo going this year, don't you?
Oh yeah, for sure.
So explain what that is for us.
JAM, Jack Anderson Motorsports, Jam. I really want to get some custom like jars made that say Jam on it, just because this thing would be kind of just something slick to sell. But yeah, I'm really happy with that we're out on our own. Obviously, still have a lot of great sponsors, a lot of great people helping me. I can't thank everybody enough. Mind if I start listing them off?
No, absolutely.
Iowa ATV, Harris Scrambler Series, Tinley, Eagle Homes, J&G Transportation, Bendy Salvage Realty, Caduceus Transmission, Ostrich Racing Engines, Glasscock Floors, Cheeks Classic Collision Center, CMC Pools, Norris Automotive, Downey Tire, Jack Anderson Auto Body, Simon Creations, Ty Lube, New Direct Transportation, Jocko Sprint, Parsons CNC Flooring. Special thanks to Jimmy. We usually have his truck pull the trailer last year, and he's going to be doing the same this year. So special thanks to him. Jimmy does, and he helps out on the car. He's here during the week helping. He does a great job. Variety Store and more. Beck Photography. He takes all my pictures. Some of the pictures I used today, he took most of those. Special thanks to Mom, Dad, Colton, one of my crew guys I go to school with. He does a great job. He's a really quick learner. He learns so much. Half time we can just tell him to do stuff now, and he already has it figured out, and he can handle it on his own. He's an amazing kid. One of my best friends, Glenn Freeland. Thank him for coming. He's been coming out. He's coming down to the shop more and more. Obviously at the races. Jimmy again, Grandma, and Kelly. I would not be anywhere near where I'm at today without all these amazing people helping me out. I just cannot thank them all enough.
That's cool. And
wow,
I know you mentioned your grandma and Kelly and stuff. And once again, I don't think I've been to a race and you don't have the family surrounded by you, and you mentioned your kids in your class and stuff. That's another thing that Chris and I talked about last year when he came down there. It looked like you had just so much support from just your friends that not just there to kind of hang out and watch a race, but they were getting involved big time, helping you with the car and stuff.
Oh, for sure. Colton, the kid with the boots on, throwing his hands up in that picture. He moved to our school middle of last year, and for the first day he was there, everyone was kind of nervous to go up and talk to him until I finally said, "Screw it, I don't want to have him just have no friends to talk to." So I brought him over and introduced him to all my friends, and ever since then, man, we've been almost inseparable. We hang out every single day, every single Wednesday. We're in the shop, listening to tunes, getting race car stuff done together. He's a great friend. He does so much for me during the week, so I'm not down there by myself, or me and Dad down there by ourselves. He just gives us that extra helping hand, and he's super quick learner. I was very, very impressed on how quick he picked up the sprint car stuff, because he's never been around a race car in his life. The only thing he's ever done is snowmobiling, and when he first came in, he knew nothing, and within like 2 or 3 weeks, man, I mean, it's just impressive on how quick he picked it up.
Very nice. And obviously you have your dad to kind of lead the charge in this whole thing with his experience. How much has that helped you?
A lot, because going into last year, coming off of after my first year, I crashed and that ended my year. Going into this first year at Knoxville, or last year, or our first full-time season at Knoxville, I was terrified. I mean, I had zero confidence. I was not there mentally. I'm like, do I really belong out here with any of these guys? You know, I was terrified. And kind of just grabbed me, calm me down. It's like, hey, it's going to be fine. Just go out there and do your thing. You know, you have what it takes to go out there and be with these guys. Just don't be nervous. And so I go out there and everything went fine. And we kept getting better and better every single week. He always comes in and tells me what he thinks he thinks I should do. And most of the time I listen, probably should listen more, but yeah, he is obviously, I would not be anywhere close here without him always being tough. He's always been super tough on me, but that's what I think has made me so competitive and always have that drive to win, because he's always been hard on me since day one. And that's how it should, I believe that's how it should be, because that has driven me to be better and hold myself to higher expectations.
Yeah. And I think, looking back at you, Jack, and seeing, and I don't know about if you'll agree with me on this, but I'm a big single sport guy as far as I'm not much into team. I know you've got some team stuff going on. We've seen with your football and stuff, but what I've noticed is that with all of your racing, you've been getting big in wrestling now and stuff, doing a lot of wrestling and stuff. Been following you on that. And to me, I've always been that if you make a mistake, you got to live with it. If you do well, then yeah, it's on your shoulders, you know, but just like that wrestling and racing, just so much you kind of feed off of each other on getting better or understanding the losses and knowing what you got to do.
Yeah. Yeah. I think wrestling is one of my most important sports in my eyes. Cause whenever I was young, I hated it. Dad was like, it's going to keep you in shape for racing. You're going to do wrestling. I didn't really fall in love with it until high school. Once high school hit my freshman year, I fell in love with wrestling. And it's not just to make you good at wrestling. It makes you a better person overall, because it's the hardest sport in my opinion by far. And it's the hardest practices. It's you and your friends going through hell together every single day, just pushing each other's. And if you didn't have your friends there with you or your teammates there with you, you wouldn't do it. But you kind of just, like you said, feed off each other, and it makes you. And if you can quit on that in life, if you can quit one thing in life, it can make it a lot easier to quit a bunch of other things in life. So I'm happy that I'm doing that. So it makes it just builds my mental toughness better for whenever real life hits once I graduate.
And that has to come in play when you're, say, 20 laps into a race and you're going to restart and everything. I don't think people probably realize how big of a mental game, not just physical, the racing is, you know. And when you hit those roadblocks or something's going wrong or what, I mean, you've got to mentally and physically be able to overcome that by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I feel like my opinion, I feel like I drive better when I'm mad, but I probably do a lot more dumb stuff when I'm mad. But it's mostly about keeping your head, because that's how you tear stuff up, is when you're angry and if you ever get sad in a race car, then you're not going to go anywhere. Honestly, it's just about keeping your head on a swivel, and just, if you make a mistake, so what? Got to live with it. Got to work on to the next thing, and just start setting up your next path, your next move. You can't overthink and like, oh, what can I change mid race? You have to just work on what can you do now to improve where you're at.
Very good. Very good. That's something a lot of people could benefit from, is buying into that philosophy. So, but I know Chris and I are talking. We're hoping that we can get some weekends here where we don't have crossover dates and stuff, and be able to get some fun times coming down there to Knoxville to watch you, and get some people down to meet you afterwards. And if we're lucky, you might even get a ride in that 7A car out there at Slideways too, right?
Oh yeah, for sure. I've had it where one night where a couple fans came down like, hey, will you meet me at Slideways some point tonight? I went out there and actually raced with them for a little bit, and it was a lot of fun. We took pictures after, and it was a lot of fun. One of their littler kids was like, can I drive the 7A? And we let him drive, and he ended up actually beating me, because we were doing lead run stop, and he ended up stopping me. So it was a lot of fun. It's fun getting to hang out with your with all your fans and getting to do it and do stuff with them because they're basically just like friends. It's the same thing to me.
Yeah.
Because like you act like you've known each other for years. You go out and hang out with each other sometimes, and I love getting to have my fans come down and talk to me.
That's awesome.
Wow.
And I know you probably don't realize Chris has been upset quite a few times at the races because we're like anybody, Jack, and we go up there and we're sitting in the stands to watch you, and we always do the thing. Okay, Heat, who you taking? And we do the thing where if I win this one, exactly, and we do the thing, like if I win, then I get the last pick the next race, right? But every time you come up, Chris, do you ever get to pick him?
No. You're on the no call list.
That's it. I don't care if you're starting in the back or in the front. They all know our whole group that goes. It's like, sorry guys, I got 7A. No matter where he's at, I ain't betting against it. So
yeah, both my boys like to play that game as well. It's something kind of entertaining. A game within the race. It keeps everybody involved.
Me and Dad used to do that every single time the Outlaws were on. Almost every single night the Outlaws were on, we'd always play. We always do picks.
Yeah, we got to go down this year. Who joined us? Sean Stratton joined us a night this year, right?
Kim, I think
we've had Kim Ricketts has joined us. So that's kind of like our cross promotion here. We're I think out of our own pockets, we're going to buy some tickets. We know that kids under 12 get in free. But I think Andy and I are just going to buy some tickets and kind of get racers from our series together to come out, as Andy said, on a non-competing race date that we have and come out and cheer you on.
Yeah, I'm super excited to come and see you guys again. And hopefully I can make it out to some of your guys' series stuff. Hopefully I find a weekend where I'm not running so I can come out and watch. I've always wanted to run a quad, but Dad says I don't belong on on anything with 2 wheels or 4 wheels. I don't belong on any of that stuff. If I'm not strapped in, I don't need to be on it. So, but it would be a lot of fun to come out and watch. I feel like that'd be a blast to get to come see your guys' side of things. Since you guys come see mine, I feel like that'd be something we could get set up.
Well, I think once the first race early. Oh, April, right? Middle of April.
April 20th. Yeah.
Well,
April 20th.
We have a couple races here and there. If you come on down to a race, I know we can get you in a side by side and one of either Andy or one of our racers take you out for a spin. Tell your dad it's got to get belt.
A cautious spin.
Cautious.
It's not good, Chris. When you're telling a sprint car driver to take you out for a spin, that doesn't sound good. We want to take you out for a ride.
Yeah, I'll drive. I got it. Let me drive it. I used to have a Razor 1000. We sold it, but I had it for a little bit. I have a little bit of experience.
Yeah.
A little tad bit.
Yeah.
Chris will ride with you.
Yeah. Sure.
All right, man. Well, Jack, we sure appreciate you coming on, taking the time with us.
Thank you guys for having me. This was a lot of fun to talk about. Obviously, our little cross promotion deal about a little bit of my family's heritage. I all know each other. It was a lot of fun, man. I really appreciate you guys having me out.
Yeah, well, we're looking forward to April 20th, and I see no reason that Chris and I won't be there for sure to cheer you on. So looking forward to it. Look forward to seeing your new shirts. So
yeah, they're gonna look awesome.
Maybe I'll tell you what. When you get them, why don't you let me know, and maybe we'll get a couple from you and put in our race trailer to see if can't move some for you there too. So
100%. Yeah, I'll be sure to let you guys know.
All righty. Well, thanks, Jack. We sure appreciate it.
Thanks, Jack.
Good luck
this
year.
Thank you.
Wow.
That's going to be fun.
I just want to recap. Jack is only 16 years old.
And his second year at Knoxville.
I mean, let's look at what a 360 is. 1,200-pound race car without the racer. Nearly 700, somewhere I'm gauging 700 horsepower engine in those things. I'm amazed.
Yeah, That's pretty cool. And as we talked about the family background with his family and ours, just man, I mean, we spent so much time together. It's just so exciting to see him out there. And well, you've been there and stuff. It's kind of like one of your own. You're holding your breath. So
believe it or not, used to be the same way when Johnny was racing as well back in the day. So when we would go to the sprint car races as well. So yeah, I'm super excited, not only for our series, but also to get in Knoxville. If anybody doesn't know me personally, I follow sprint cars all the time. Follow several guys, different podcasts as well. So excited to, it's kind of like my, your what they say, your job away from your job, so to speak. Because the series is the full-time job, but it's also nice to step away and get to relax and just watch another form of racing.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, and to get some families that that invites out there for anybody that would like to travel down on Saturday nights with us. Whether we carpool or whatever, it's just a fun time to get everybody together and go have some fun. So,
yep,
looking forward to it.
All right.
Heck yeah.
So those that yeah, go ahead.
I was just gonna say one other thing too. We talked about, we started out tonight with a real estate agent with Jason stepping up to help with the not only to come on this year as a sponsor with his real estate team, but also to help with the Honda 90s. And that's been so cool. Which Jason, I know he pointed out earlier, but that's stuff that he's volunteering to do. And it's not like someone's beating on his door, it's Jason's got a lot of time in the series, and he just seems like Jason just always wanting to give back. And it's so cool to see him do that, and then you bring on Ty Lube, and Ty Lube's helping with the racers, and the track crew, and just so nice. And you transition from Ty Lube helping us, and now they're involved with our cross promotion with, the 7A of Jack Anderson, and it's really cool. And then, what's one of the coolest parts about this week? Did you pay attention to the GNCC at all this last time?
Well, that I was working hard with some stuff behind the scenes with this podcast and having a couple of interviews, but we'll go ahead and throw that ticker up from round 3.
There's, I'm proud of everybody that no matter how you end up finishing, Chris, obviously this was a horrible mud race. Great opportunity, with it being Mike Pinland Day there. And a lot of people running down there to see him and get to participate in that. It was such a cool atmosphere. We had the National Women's Wrestling thing going on, so we were there. And I'm sitting there trying to watch matches and watch the live scoring and seeing it and how muddy it was and everything. But boy, there was a couple that just really stuck out this weekend that I know they're on the ticker down there. It just has to be mentioned. I was watching that afternoon show. Well, let's start earlier than that. It was the youth. Yeah. And this has only happened 2 times ever in 20 years of racing for our series, And the first one was many, many moons ago. Cody Stevenson, which I want to show a congratulations. I think I just seen on Facebook he's getting married this last weekend. So pretty cool of him. And but he took second overall at GNCC out Ironman one year. And then last year we had Jordan Berg actually picked up an overall win, time ever somebody from our series. And now we have just a muddy heck of a race. And Cole Brandt kept working his way up and ended up finishing second. I don't think he was too far off the lead. So Cole Brandt gets second overall in that. That was pretty cool. And then we go to that afternoon, and I'm not going to lie, I thought I was seeing something wrong because I was looking at the live scoring and I popped up and I'm trying to see, is it Neal or Fowler, who's leading this thing, knowing that they both want to be out front, and I see the overall leader is Jordan Berg. out of the College A, and that blew me away. It's pretty cool to hear Johnny and all them guys talking about it and stuff. And he had it on the adjusted time and everything. And then as the race went on, he ended up got beat in the College A, ended up second in College A. And what's that? I'm trying to remember what he was overall. I know it's coming up there, but it's 19th, I think. I think he was a top 20.
Yeah.
But those two just really stuck out. You can see proud of all the guys and gals and youth that go out there and try to take on the competition, racing with all them guys. And it's no fun if you're by yourself, but man, if you've got some of them big classes, these guys are kind of going over to and challenging themselves. I think it's pretty cool. So just want to give a shout out to all them guys, gals, and youth that are out there attacking that. So
Exactly. Yeah. Congratulations to all. And like we said previously, if you're racing somewhere, let us know. We'll certainly throw it up there so everybody kind of knows how you've done, and can cheer you on as well.
yeah.
Oh,
Well, Chris, I hope you have a safe flight.
Yeah. Should be fun. We've got some fun things planned with the kids. We're kind of fortunate. We've got some in-laws that have a second home down in Florida that we traveled down quite a few times throughout the year just to kind of relax and get a reset and get back to the grind. So it should be fun. I'm hearing 80 degrees, so I'll take that any day.
Good time to go down and recharge the battery. So
recharge it. I'll come back and we'll have roughly 20 days before we start that first race.
I tell you, I'm getting excited. Got a lot of new racers coming this year. We've had a lot of new names.
Yeah.
Not a lot of new numbers, I should say. A lot of new racers, period. But some of them are just coming back. It's been away for a while. And tell you what, I think it's going to be a good year. I'm getting real excited.
Yeah, and I think we have fun things excited. You got me excited about it, being excited or maybe tired. We also, have tons of things that you and I are talking about doing, interviews, race recaps, posting all that stuff out on our YouTube channel, just to keep everybody informed. I think everybody likes the content, and more we can produce, we'll throw it out there for everybody.
Absolutely.
So,
cool.
All right. Well, until next time, thanks for those that are still sticking around for this impromptu podcast. It will be streamed on Thursday as well over on our YouTube channel. So thank you guys. Until next time, we'll see you later.